This man is not afraid of taking a risk. After all, he won the Best 80s Costume Contest when he came to our shrimp boil dressed up like Slash of the Guns N' Roses band. That wasn't the only thing he took a risk on that day. You'll hear more about it in this episode. Of course, we have other reasons for liking Michael Bland. He is the Capital Project Stewardship Leader at Celanese, and he is the influencer of that company's corporate giving. We were amazed when Celanese reached out to us. They wanted to help, and help they did. Their donations to the shrimp boil, or providing chemo kits for our patients, are just two examples of their community support. And if this episode inspires you, then please consider sharing with your employer. Businesses of all sizes have supported and continue to support our mission. Go to therose.org to learn more. Let's talk about your breast. A different kind of podcast presented to you by The Rose, a breast center of excellence and a Texas treasure. You're going to hear frank discussions about tough topics, and you're going to learn why knowing about your breast could save your life. Michael, thank you so much for being with us today, and we are so pleased that your organization has really embraced The Rose, your company, and I want you to tell us just a little bit about Celanese. Tell me what you do. Now, I looked you up and I've heard and all these kind of things, but what is your job there?
So I am actually a people program owner, which really kind of equates to I work with the safety program and help with the environmental health and safety of our site. And one of the amazing things that I think is important about my job and what I do there is I really work for every single person at our site to serve them, to make sure that we have the very best safety, health, environmental record possible, not just for our people, but for our community and the folks around us, and to just be a good partner. And I love that about my job. I really do.
Yeah.
And so I've been doing that. I've been at Celanese since 2018 and working at the site there in Clear Lake. And I love Celanese. It's one of the most amazing places I've ever worked for. And I would say probably because of the amount of community investment that they do with working locally and allowing us as employees to really have the latitude to find, seek, and decide and determine which causes and where we put our money locally to help support, which causes are important to us. So I love that about our company.
So tell us about Celanese. You know, this podcast is heard throughout U.S. and also internationally. So there may be people who have never even heard of it. Not around here, but...
Yeah, right. So Celanese is one of the leading chemical manufacturing companies in the world, based out of Dallas, Texas. So we're very fortunate here at Clear Lake to be close to our headquarter home office. And we really work around the world providing some of the very best base materials for everything that you could imagine, anything from ingredients to the diet soda, to sportswear, to any kind of medical plastics and devices that you could imagine that we use in the medical field.
Wow.
Automotive, construction, coatings. We provide some of the very best base materials in the world for those manufacturing those products. And so we're really proud of that. We're really
Should be. My goodness.
So,
So go back to what you were saying about how they are very interested in their community. And I'm not sure that you knew this part, but we had the Celanese people reached out to us, which is so rare. I mean, usually we have to go to a corporation with a proposal or something and say, you know, would you help us with this project? And we really needed those chemo kits. Our patients who are uninsured, most of the time, do not have the funds that are needed to get those extra things when you're going through chemotherapy. And it's just products that will help them be able to be more comfortable. So we were in need of those. Your company said, we'll help. And that was what we remember as our first introduction to Celanese. So
I love hearing that, but honestly, I'm not surprised to hear that, because what makes Celanese amazing is the amazing people that work at Celanese. And that's what makes our company great, amazing, and leaders in the industry. But I'm not surprised to hear that somebody locally within the Clear Lake area hears that need and comes out, approaches to try to help. And so not surprised at that at all. I think the next question would be, how do we continue to keep helping, and how do we build and not just stop at helping to provide chemo kits, but how else can we contribute? Because one of the things that was important to us is we're not about just giving money away. We're about becoming a part of your cause and committing to the work that it takes to lead your cause and to make an impact and a difference in the community and in people's lives and things that really matter. And I really believe that that as a company, as an organization, as a workforce, as a group here in Clear Lake, those are the things and those are the values that we really want people to see and know that we are a partner. We're not just a donor in your cause. So I'm excited to hear that, we came to you guys, and I had been to a Rose event before I'd actually ever worked for Celanese, so I had some exposure beforehand. So when we were coming to the Rose Shrimp Boil event this year, I was very excited about.
All right, now I think that's really when I first became aware of you personally. Of course, you looked a little different at the Shrimp Boil, but tell me that story. This was our 35th anniversary to have our Shrimp Boil, which is a long time for any fundraising to go on, but my marketing team decided everybody needed to dress up like the 80s.
I think that's an amazing marketing team. I hope they got hailed and praised.
No,
for that
they
idea.
really had to work on getting me to even agree to that. But I was surprised at the companies and the people that came out dressed. You were one, and you came as who?
Well, I came as Slash from the rock and roll band Guns N' Roses. Because I believe the Rose 1986, is that the year that we're so, and there was some discussion about don't just dress up, but have a story and understand from the 1986, not just the 80s, but really kind of know what's significant about 86. And for me, I've teamed up with another buddy of ours at Celanese, and he was Axl Rose. I came as Slash. We came together, and then we were able to tie that into the 1986 rock band, and it just grew from there, and it was an amazing time.
Now, remind me, were you the winner?
We did win. It was pretty amazing. We had no expectation of that. We just came. Listen, our Celanese group, I think we had a couple of tables. There was about 20 of us all together, and every single one of us dressed up, came in there, and we were a little nervous walking in the door because, we weren't for sure how, because when you ask us to come, we're going to bring it, and we're going to try to bring it all the way. And I hope that's what we got, because that's what brings the fun and interest. Yeah. But it was such a great idea. It was so fun for our team to come in and really learn more and help raise some funds and money and awareness about what's going on and how we can better help and what we could take back to our workforce and our team and to generate even more support in the future. But we ended up accidentally winning this 80s costume contest as Slash, and we just absolutely couldn't believe it. It was so much fun.
It did turn out. It was a lot of fun. And I do want to recognize that Celanese was one of our raffle sponsors, which, when you sponsor something like that and we're doing this raffle, it just makes more money. It's a win-win all the way around. And this was one of our best shrimp boils. It really was.
Well, what was really, really nice about the shrimp boil was the sponsorship. It really had a broad appeal and opportunity for varying budgets of whether you're a big company, a medium company, a small organization, everybody and anybody that wants to get involved and help with this cause. There was a way to help and a way to participate in that shrimp boil. And I thought that was absolutely fantastic because we saw that.
So this is on a Saturday historically, and it's not a heavy-duty, top-dollar expense. I mean, you're coming to eat a whole plate of shrimp with all of the trimmings for $35, and the tables are very reasonable. But invariably, this strip bowl not only serves as a fundraiser, but it's a community awareness event for us. I cannot tell you how many people come to the Rose afterwards because they, first of all, didn't know we were here, and they had some fun, and now they want to support us or be a patient, and so it's really a great community event.
And you can feel that when you go to any of the Rose events. The one event that I went to prior to this year, there was a survivor's quilt that was auctioned off, and it raised so much money. I was
remember that one. Yes.
I mean, it was unbelievable. It was I believe it was tens of thousands of dollars.
Yes.
And just so much moved me, and just knowing who I always tell that story when I talk about the shrimp boil and about this quilt. That I don't remember the exact amount, but I just thought how great
it was. $10,000, and we've never had another single item ever bring that much money in.
Is that right?
Oh, it was. It was just, that. And the lady that made it, she donated it to us. She paid for all the materials and that kind of thing. So yeah,
it was special.
It was
a special moment. It really was.
Yeah.
I was so impressed with that. The wonderful thing for us too is like Robert Wright, his wife.
Cheryl.
They really helped bring more awareness with the Rose to the Celanese Foundation and to our site, and so I think we're really grateful for that because not only is it the Rose is doing a tremendous service to our community and people that are underinsured in the fight against cancer, but it's fun folks to be a part of and to be with, and just the things that you guys do. It was just so much fun to be there and to dress up and to do the 80s and
oh my gosh. Now, the home marketing team will be back on me wanting to do a different theme for this year. And they're going to say, Michael said it was a lot of fun. I can hear it now. I know the whole spiel they're going to give me.
For us in our marketing within our site, talking about the Rose, we're able to cycle that through to get more awareness about what's going on and involvement from our employees. And when they hear the Rose and associate it with our foundation and the work that we're doing, and they see the fun that we're having in doing the work, it really makes it easier for us. So those little things like that, they certainly go a long way socially within our workforce and our community within our plant to be able to promote and really help rally more support, more backing for the Rose. So it was good.
You were telling me a story about a new,
yes.
And I was sitting here going, oh, how embarrassing. This was his first introduction to the Rose.
So we had a new plant manager that was actually just visiting during the shrimp boil at that time, and we were like, hey, we need to invite our new site director to come to the shrimp boil with us, and especially that we were going to do the 80s and we were going to dress up, and we thought, hey, this will be a good opportunity for him to spend some time with us and to see the Celanese Foundation and the support and the work that we're doing and what kind of organizations we're supporting. And so Eric Johnson comes with us, and it was his first trip out as the new director incoming, and he poor thing, he came in and he's traveling, so he doesn't have a home and all that, and, so he didn't have a costume, so he didn't come with a costume, but the rest of us showed up. These
are my employees. This is my new staff. Oh, yeah, right.
We were like, what is he going to think about us? But he loved it. And it was such a great exposure for him to come see how much fun we have and how much we enjoyed it and how much it means to us, and to see the dedication of the Celanese employees and the folks that work with him and that he's leading. To be involved, and then just to see the quality of the organization that Rose and what y'all bring to our community and just the help. It was his first experience with us and his first experience with the Rose there, and I just thought it was amazing. It was an amazing moment. And, we had this podcast going. People were talking to us, and everybody was introducing them to themselves, and it was just such an open, fun environment. And it was great for him to be a part of that.
Yeah. So. I always say it's kind of like going to a big family reunion with 800 people. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we do know each other, and this... it's not that big of a community after all. So, but I want to tell you, in my world, I live with a lot of seriousness, and when I think of the Rose, I always think that way. We took care of this many people. We have a lot of uninsured, and to hear you talk about us in that way is so refreshing. I mean, it's just a nice break to think that we can also be seen as this community organization that can have fun.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I think it's important, that
I never thought about it like that. I think that is
in the
what
seriousness of it all,
yeah.
right? And the gravity and the stake and, life-changing. We still have time to laugh and enjoy and spread that the good feeling and the goodwill. And it just, it was a magic moment. It absolutely was.
Wow, thank you for that gift. Now, you don't have any family members that have breast cancer or anything. This is not something that's touched you?
Not me personally, but not breast cancer, but definitely cancer for sure.
Cancer, yeah.
I lost my grandmother in 2001 with lung cancer, and that was hard. And I was very young at that time, and I would never have known to look in early detection in anything. We actually grew up in a farming community outside of Fort Worth, outside of Granbury, Texas, and you kind of keep to yourself, and you tell the doctor only what you must and only what you have to, and nothing more, because you don't want to embarrass yourself or embarrass the family. And I always felt that way. And then, my grandmother, when she got sick, she actually shared with us, hey, you guys have got to be willing to talk about what's going on and share what's going on with your doctor, with the doctor. And, you're not hiding anything from anybody. You have to get on it early. And I feel like I always wish that we would have understood that sooner. And even she admitted that, hey, I just ignored some really, really obvious things, and I kept making excuses for what was going on, and I did not. She just didn't go in, and it just got to a point where there's just no way to get around it or get past it. So that was a profound impact, and she shared that with us.
Wow, what great advice, though. But you've given me some insight. When we go into rural areas, we really have to sort of take a different approach. And I don't mean that exactly, but you don't just go into a city and say, oh, we're here, the Rose is here, come get your mammogram. That community has to trust you.
Yes.
And it always requires someone local to help us coordinate an event. But I never thought about how it relates back to being private.
Yes. I mean, that was just my experience. I don't know if other people have that or not.
I think that's pretty universal when you come to think about it. Someone said to me once, you never know, and you could in a community, in a rural community, you never know where the poverty is. It's behind the gate. Yeah. Now, you can go over to some of our communities here in Houston. You can see, it's easy to see where the poverty is, but not in the country, or not when people need help, because always it's behind that gate.
Yeah.
And that is so true. So very true.
And how many mobile units
we
do
have
y'all
5
have
now?
You have 5 now. And I was reading, I think that's increased a lot since.
Oh, yes.
And just, what was the.
We had the first coach come in 2017, and we lived with one coach for a year or so, brought in another one, and at that point, we were booked out a year. I mean, we couldn't, there was no building business. We didn't have any days that we could even go to anyone else. And we were primarily serving the uninsured. By the time we got the third coach, we could bring in some insured, which helps, always helps. You know, we really depend on that insured woman coming in. But for the insured women, especially in rural areas, again, it was about transportation. It was about they were going to have to drive an hour, 2 hours to find a breast imaging center. And in the city, it's almost the same thing. There's some areas that people just are relying on public transportation, and it's hard. It's hard to get around.
Not all the dots connect.
No, not all the dots connect. That's a good way. So the mobile coach, to me, they have been our mission in action. You know, it takes the health care to the person who needs it, wherever they are. And it's been as a businessman, you know this, but it is one of the most expensive services we could do. Big coach, gas,
insurance,
maintenance, the generators on all the time. I mean, you know, it's just a different world. I know more about mechanical stuff on coaches than I ever had any business knowing. But I will tell you, there's nothing.
Well, I think supporters oftentimes you don't realize the logistics and the support that it takes to get the right resource at the right time for the people that need it the most and where they need it.
Right.
And what it takes to actually get those things from from one place to the other and make it accessible. Mm-hmm. The cost of that is just like we just mostly don't realize or think in those terms. So it's amazing that you got 5 of those units moving because that is a huge cost. But I think it's a pledge to or support to how well supported and how much people believe in what's going on here.
Oh, absolutely. We've had incredible generosity to even purchase the coaches. We also have a Keep the Mobile on the Road program. You never know what's going to happen.
Well, tell me about that. Like, is that's your program?
Well, it's a fundraising program so that if you want to help us keep the mobile on the road, you can contribute to it because it is only for that. Okay. It is restricted for any kind of unusual repair, any kind of... Do you know how much those windows cost, the front windows, the windshield things? I mean, my gosh, we have to replace 2 or 3 of those every year. Now, we budget for some of that, but one year we had 5. Oh. So, this fund is for those unusual kind of things. One year we had ACs go out on 2 coaches. Each of them had 3. Suddenly we had to have 6 AC units. And, of course, they all are special made. They all have to have these things that keep the germs and all that stuff down. Your safety, you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Even
someone that owns an RV, they understand how expensive the AC unit is, or if they've got to replace a window. Those things are never cheap. Mm-hmm. So the ground support and the fundraising required to keep that moving.
You can buy anything you want for our coaches. We would appreciate it.
Okay.
I mean, they're just, but they're too important.
Okay, I would definitely like to learn more about that and see what we can do. Those are things that we could really
get behind,
highlight and work on.
And the guys would get it too.
Yeah, because we got a lot of car guys and a lot of truck guys, and they know these things.
So, that would be neat.
Yeah, I think we could really tie that into some of the groups that we have there at our site. But it's so just amazing how much that stuff costs just to keep everything on the road moving and getting there. And I just don't even know how y'all keep up with it sometimes. It's just...
I have great staff. I have the most incredible people in the world. And, we're like 99% women. So sometimes when I think about why, how we get things done around here, it's just, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it shows. It absolutely shows. The Celanese Foundation in Clear Lake, our plant, we are behind the rows. We love the organization, and it's one of the things we love it. I mean, it's just been something special, and we can't wait to do more.
All right. Well, then you're going to be on the Shrimp Boil Committee.
Oh, my. Well, here we go. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure
I tell you
could
what,
bring some
we will
ideas
be happy
to them.
to come.
Oh, good.
We will find a way.
Well, you've helped others understand how much that support means to a nonprofit. But, we've also talked about other ways to help nonprofits. I think this has been a great podcast.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but one of the other organizations that we support and that I'm actually involved in as a area facilitator is a thing called Reboot Recovery. And the prize that we had won at the Shrimp Boil this year for the Slash costume, we actually donated that to Reboot Recovery. They had a fundraiser at Topgolf there in Webster the following month. So we donated that on the behalf of the Rose and had all your information up there, and we highlighted that, and they highlighted that during the raffling and all that. So yeah, so we paid that forward on behalf of the Rose, and it was pretty cool. So we were able to kind of parlay that to that, and the Reboot Recovery is all about trauma and recovery and suicide prevention in veterans, first responders, very, very specifically. But they also have a program for everyone. And so we really enjoy working with them. And we love the fact that we were able to tie the Rose to their fundraiser as well. So it was really cool for us.
So many good stories you have here.
Well,
yeah, that's good to know. Another way that corporations can help.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
I think the power of our people at Celanese and the leverage that our corporate office out of Dallas has given us to really seek locally in the Clear Lake area, in the Houston area where we're based out of, and really find those organizations that really touch us and that we see that are moving and making big differences, particularly the Rose, allowing us to really put our weight, time, effort behind that is one of the things that make our company great and make us so happy to be a part of what you guys are doing in some small way. So we really appreciate that. We thank you so much for letting us be here.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you, Mike. And thank you for being on the show with very little warning. I know you came in and said, okay, I'll talk. So
this is how
appreciate
we do it,
that.
right?
Yes, that's how we do it. Thank you so much, Michael, for being with us. And, express our gratitude and appreciation to all those at Celanese. And I can't wait to see what you're going to come up with for the Shrimp Boil this year.
All right. I love that. Thank you so much for having us. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us today on Let's Talk About Your Breasts. This podcast is produced by Speak Podcasting and brought to you by The Rose. Visit therose.org to learn more about our organization. Subscribe to our podcast, share episodes with friends, and join the conversation on social media using hashtag Let's Talk About Your Breasts. We welcome your feedback and suggestions. Consider supporting The Rose. Your gift can make the difference to a person in need. And remember, self-care is not selfish. It's essential.